This event started in a conference room with 10 people, and maybe like 8 of them paid to be there. And like 90% of the people that paid got like some type of a coupon code or something like that. So it started really small. And, you know, at the end of the event, it was like, all right, bye y'all. I'll see y'all next time if we do it again. Like when I first did this event, I didn't know that it would be an event series or that it would turn into a podcast or a coaching program or any of the things that it is now, a community, an online course, a book. Like everything is under Speak Your Way to Cash. And I could have never imagined that it would grow to what it is now and that it would have helped the thousands of speakers that have bought our services or downloaded a course or attended a webinar. I literally did it at the request of people asking me how I was making so much money speaking. That was it. So for it to be what it is now, a standalone company that supports employees and has high-end clients and has testimonials galore is just an honor and a blessing. And I'm so excited to see what it'll do in the next 3+ years. Okay.
Oh my goodness. If you are an individual who has been stuck around your expertise and how to leverage it, you should come to Speak Your Way to Cash.
My experience was top-notch. It was mind-blowing.
I was so blown away about the details. I absolutely loved everything about this box.
That's one of the highlights of this event, was really the experience started before the event with the pre-event materials, and it really got me excited because I got a good overview of what was going to happen, and I really think that special touch really hyped up my energy and got me excited for what was in store.
And I was like almost into tears because that's what matters to me. I love the details, and I love that Ashley made those details like personalized almost.
And it really, really excited me to even come even more. So I couldn't wait for the day to come because of the pre-event stuff that we got. I was really excited to be here, and it was different.
This event isn't just for the novice or for the experience. It's really just for everyone who's looking to elevate their work, elevate their story, and find a wonderful group of individuals who are wanting to really enhance your experience in the speaking market and take care of you as family.
If you are an individual who's willing to be stretched and pushed to reach the results that you desire, then you should be here at Speak Your Way to Cash.
And what I learned at Speak Your Way to Cash is to get rid of the negative limiting beliefs that's been holding me back from actually entering the speaking world. I know that I'm qualified. I know that I'm worthy. But today in this workshop, I actually learned that I don't need to be afraid and that I can just step into my worthiness and really take my business to the next level as a speaker to add that as an additional revenue to my business.
I would recommend that anyone, regardless of where you are in a speaking career, you need to be at Speak Your Way to Cash in the future, because you never know how this information will definitely make you manifest some things within you. There's absolutely an activation that happens every day at Speak Your Way to Cash, and you need to be there.
Hello, my name is Dr. Rochelle Delia, and what I learned at Speak Your Way to Cash that changed the game for me is that just my ideas have value, and they're no longer just my ideas. I expected to get out of Speak Your Way to Cash, obviously information about speaking, but I was also very interested in the community aspect, meeting other ladies that are looking to grow their speaking businesses and really, I would say, leverage their command in the marketplace as experts. And that is exactly what I've met, and so I'm very grateful to be here and be a part of the community. My pre-event experience was fantastic. For some variety of reasons, I was a late registrant, and the Speak Your Way to Cash team just went above and beyond. They overnighted me a box, and I am just so grateful that the team really went above and beyond to make me feel included and a part of the process. I think the people that are most appropriate for attending Speak Your Way to Cash are persons that are already experts either in industry, academia, or entrepreneurship, and they're really looking to level and increase their speaking business, as well as their confidence in really communicating what their expertise is in a very cohesive manner.
Hi, my name is Lunchabelle, comedian host for this extraordinary event, Speak Your Way to Cash. And the most valuable thing that I learned from the event that I can apply with my business is know my worth. You can never pay my worth, but you can pay me my rate. And so me going forth, my focus has pretty much shifted, and she has given me the mindset that I am worthy of the price that I ask for in every room that I step in. I'm going to be a trailblazer. I would recommend anybody who has a vision, who has a dream, who has a passion to attend this. No age limit, no matter the gender. If you believe in yourself, this event is for you. It would definitely expand and go far beyond whatever you imagine. I would recommend everybody, if you are sitting at your job behind the desk or your 9 to 5 or whatever you do for full time, if you want to work for yourself, it's a must. It's a it's an urgency that you get to this event.
All
So
right.
after I went back.
All right.
So
we have next up, we're going to have another session on pitching those contracts and implementing what you learn. But before that, let me know what you are taking away. If you have a takeaway from that first session, from either the mindset session or from what you just learned about licensing, raise your hand. I want to hear your takeaway. Let me know. And for you guys who are VIP, we do have VIP Zoom background. So if you don't have one, just DM Lael and she'll send it to you. But let me know. Okay, Marcy, I see your hand up. What has been your biggest takeaway so far?
Hi. Hey. This is my first time. I'm just really loving this. And I just want to thank you for being you. My biggest takeaway is that as a Black woman, my worth, that is huge. That is so huge. And everything I've learned so far has just been amazing. I've been in other speaker conferences, and this one, I believe, is going to top them. So thank you so much for just doing this. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely, Marcy. Thank you so much for being here. And if y'all love this, y'all gonna love the event in November. But I love hearing that, Marcy. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash fam. You have such a bright personality. I absolutely love it. Stay tuned. We got a lot going on. And I need to give you guys a keyword too soon. But we have a lot going on. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Tiara, what's your biggest takeaway so far?
Hello, good evening. Good morning still. My fault. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. I kind of want to, belly off what she said. You are so dope. Continue to let God use you. Continue to reach people and teach people and meet people where they are. You really inspired me a lot on different levels about understanding that what I offer is monetary. It's monetary. Like what I offer has value and worth. Like I have stepped outside of myself because I'm an entrepreneur in a business, but you taught me so many things that are applicable to all those genres, not even just speaking, just as a leader, just as an entrepreneur. So like just understand that this is deeper. Like this is something you should offer just period in life because it's necessary components. Unfortunately I'm able to go into the VIP session this time, but I will have my stuff in order for November because this is something I definitely want to be a part of. Just keep doing great things for that women. Please keep doing it.
Absolutely. And is it Regine? Let me know if I said your name wrong. Regine, what is your biggest takeaway? Okay, we'll go to Nakiara, is that right?
Hi, it's Nakira.
Nakira.
Hello. I just want to say thank you for your obedience. And I've just been mind blown. I'm normally doing the hosting of events. I've had 2 events in my online community of women of God in business. And so I've recently offered to speak on a platform. And I'm just super excited because it's been a while since I've been a part of a summit on this side and been able to gain so much knowledge and just knowing that you're a woman of God as well. And so I've just been soaking up all the information that you've been posting inside of the Facebook group. And I love it. I love it. I fell asleep on it last night, just listening to your voice. And you're just awesome and amazing. I see a lot of me in you. And it's just been awesome because when I first moved to Tampa 6 years ago, my ultimate goal and my ultimate vision is to speak, but I didn't know how to monetize it. And it just wasn't a good place in my life at the time. But God has done so much in my life over the last 5-6 years. And I've been canceling out a lot of disbeliefs and things of that nature, and just kind of getting in what God says about me and not what I think about me sometimes, and just imposter syndrome and all those things. So I love it. I love it. I've been sharing it on Instagram, and I'm so excited for the rest of the summit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And for those of you sharing on Instagram, please tag at the Ashley Nicole Show and at Speak Your Way to Cash so that we can retweet you and celebrate you. We would really, really appreciate that. It looks like our next speaker is here. So if Marvin could pin both of us, that would be amazing. And we will dive right in. All right. Welcome, welcome. So excited about this session. Yep, you can unmute.
There we go. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. This is great. Now, I know you said that you and your husband listened to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast and you all kind of work together as well. And Maria just spoke and talked about how her husband redlines her proposals. So now we got to know if your husband is making sure you up your proposals as well, because it seems like there's a trend with the speaker.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. He definitely does.
I love it. Okay, so first off, introduce yourself, Alicia, to the Speak Your Way to Cash community, what it is that you do. I know you have a book out as well. And what are your speaking topics?
Yeah, so my name is Alicia Ledham. I am a new author. My book's actually coming out on Friday, called 48 hours. It's called The 6 Gold Keys to Well-Being. It's a guide to unlocking a healthy and happy life. So what I do is that is my framework that I teach wellness workshops on for leaders. So I help them to lead themselves so that they can better lead their teams by really taking care of themselves. So I do this through mindset work, through giving them healthy tips, and really changing the way that they are in their everyday life so that they can have a more joyous self and be more happy to be around. So when I came to your event last November, I was unsure of how to present my offers to people. And because what was happening is I was getting people asking me all the time, like, oh, awesome, I love that you, speak on wellness and you have wellness offerings. What can you do for us? And I said, well, it depends. Like, what do you need? And so it didn't really go the way that I wanted it to. And so after I went to the trainings, right? I'm like, I have to go to Speak Your Way to Cash. It was this huge aha of how I was able to format and package like my services into, this is what I offer, here's how I can help you. And now it's just been like blowing up since then. So it's been very, very helpful.
Yes, I love that. I love hearing success stories because it motivates everyone here that it can work. Like, you can come and Speak Your Way to Cash live. You should definitely be there. But like, this is real. Like, it's real for everyday people like us, changing our lives through speaking and well-being. And what you speak on is so critically important. So first, how did you develop your framework? That's the first question. Because I know some people are like, I don't know what's a framework. We do cover it in the book as well. But how did you come up with your framework?
Honestly, it has just been, so I've been in the wellness space for almost a decade. And over the last decade, I have just found that these are the 6 main pillars, or the 6 main keys that I found to be a well-being, that makes up a well-being. And so I was putting together some trainings a couple of years ago, around like right before the pandemic was happening. And I realized that the topics I was listing that makes up a well-being was actually my framework. And so then that's what turned into writing my book. But what's funny is my book I was gonna name it and title it something different until I came to Speak Your Way to Cash. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to title it what my framework is, because that's what Ashley is teaching me. So that's how it came to be.
Yes. Okay. I love that. And notice what I want you all to take from this is you need to be consistent. Don't make it so hard on yourself. She looked at her decades worth of experience, noticed the trends, that became her framework. She titled the book, what she's actually teaching people in the framework. It all flows together. So first off, how did you first learn of Speak Your Way to Cash? Like the community.
I saw you had a post. It was on someone's Instagram. It was like the CEO Instagram or something about like, I distinctly remember it. You said, stop focusing on 6-figure years and start focusing on 6-figure contracts. And I was like, who is she? And that was it. And so now I've been focusing on 6-figure contracts.
Yes, I love that. Yes, took it to heart. So a tip for you guys, like make sure you're posted on Instagram, okay? Like it helps. So this is so good. You said that your business is blown up. I saw you posting about a corporate contract recently, but prior to Speak Your Way to Cash, what did your proposals look like? Were you already pitching 5-figure contracts? Did you already kind of have a process for that? Or was it all new since the event?
It was all totally new. So I've come from the world of, in the wellness space, when you're teaching yoga and you're leading meditations, like there's not a very big monetary exchange. And so when I started, I was actually offered to speak. No, you know what happened was at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, oh, I should start bringing and offering meditations for corporate teams because they're stressed out right now. Like, let me just offer this. And so I was pricing it in a way that I would have, at like a yoga studio or online. And so it didn't have like any sort of system or process. And then I was offering to teach workshops at a very low price and just kind of one-off at this price and here. I didn't have any system at all until I went to Speak Your Way to Cash. And I was like, oh, I need to have a system and I can package it in this way that now I can charge, instead of 300, it's thousands more in a much better way, So yeah.
I love that. And what do you sell to corporations now? Because there's a lot of people so were you first, let me back up. Were you first a yoga instructor and doing those classes and that was kind of it and you've now added speaking, or did the speaking come first and then the classes started?
I started teaching yoga classes like eight years ago. So what I was offering corporations 5-6 years ago, I was doing like women's retreats. I was creating like online courses. I was doing online workshops, and I was selling primarily to consumers. So, women would come into my world and I would teach them the things. And so now what I do is I package my framework into a workshop series. And within this workshop series, I do, it's either 60 to 90 minutes once a month. And then after the workshop, we do coaching. So depending on, the client, it's either one-on-one coaching with their small like team of leaders, or I open it up as wellness coaching office hours. So then people can come to me after the workshop and we can do that, which I picked that tip up from Speak Your Way to Cash. That was brilliant. And people love that. So that's like my primary service and offerings. And so when I go to people, if they ask me, hey, what do you offer? I say, well, I have my workshop series. It's based on this. Then they'll ask, oh, could you do a workshop on, just this topic or that? And it will be within my framework and I can do that. But what's helpful is I can lead with the series as a whole, and then I can, narrow it down from there, or I can build upon it and they will ask me, well, could you add this? Could we make it this way, and it can grow into more than that.
Yes, definitely. Okay, awesome. This is really good. Now, do you remember the first time what is the largest amount you've proposed to a company so far?
So after Speak Away to Cash, I submitted a proposal it was 55,000. And it's been a long process, but just yesterday morning, we had our final call, and it's accepted. We're going through it, but it's actually up to 72 now. So it raised.
Woo! Yes!
So yes, it came through before this call with Ashley.
Yes! Look at that!
I know. So it can happen, you guys.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Give her some love in the chat. Let's go. I mean, come on. First, Maria. And what's so funny is I never know unless I ask people like, hey, how's it going? Did you get it? Is it working out? And so this is my first time hearing this too, guys. Okay. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh. I wish it was in person so I could hug you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I hope you're coming live in November. I will give you that hug. We need a toast to this. Me, you, and your husband. Okay. Yeah. This is huge. Congratulations. This is so good. Wow. Amazing. That's so good. Okay, cool. So take me to the moment you pressed send on that proposal. Were you scared? What emotions were coming up? How were you able to actually do it? Because there's some people that are like, okay, it's easy for me to create the proposal on the back end, but actually pressing send terrifies me. So speak to the person who's like, this seems like it could work for you, but I don't even know how I can overcome the fear to propose that and it working out for me.
So for me, one of my belief systems is this quote by Wayne Dyer. He says, I'm open to everything and attached to nothing. And so what I like to do is not be so attached to it. And then I'm just like, you know what? If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. I'm open to it coming through, but I'm not attached to it needing to happen to this, because if it doesn't happen for this person, it's going to happen for someone else. So I'm not as attached. And what helped me, I was feeling very scared because I wasn't done with my book yet. And I was pitching it basically off of this framework of my book, and my proposal wasn't perfect. I even updated it since then, because we revamped it and added 20-some thousand more to it. But I was like, you know what, done is better than perfect. And I just have to put it out there. It's not going to happen if I don't do it. So I'm not attached, I'm open, and I'm just going to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes, I love that. Honestly, guys, I want you all to remember this. You can take fear along with you for the ride. A lot of people tell you have to get rid of fear and then you can act. No, take it with you. Just don't let it drive. It could be in the car. It just shouldn't be in the driver's seat. You should be in the driver's seat. And it's so incredible that you took action after the event, guys. Seriously, people come to events all the time, listen to great stuff, and they're like, all right, works for them, won't work for me. So let's talk about your implementation practices. First off, how did you categorize all of your notes? Because there's a lot of people on here who will be coming to Speak Your Way to Cash Live and getting all this great information. They're going to have notes. Most people are coming back. How did you decide what to implement first? What did that process look like so you didn't get overwhelmed? You just took action and made it happen and got your win.
Okay, so I took notes I have my my notebook actually for it right here. But I took notes for each day. So I wrote day 1, I wrote everything down, day 2, day 3. And then at the end of day 3, before I shut my computer down and left for the day, I went through and I highlighted the things that I wanted to take action on. So I went through and okay, I'm going to do this, this, this. And then I went through the highlighted things and I put that into a document for my team. And we went through it and I was like, all right, we're just going to start here and then here. And I actually still haven't even gotten to everything. We're still working on getting through it all because there were so many good things, which is why I have to come back because I need to learn more about it. But that's what I did is I literally went through, I highlighted it. There were some things that I could just take and do right away. And then some things that was just a process that we're still working through. But that's something that I agree. You could go to so many summits and conferences and events, and learn all the things, but it doesn't matter if you're not implementing what you're learning. You have to do something with it. So just take the things that you resonate with, that you know you can do, and then leave the rest, and then just go back next year and learn the other new things and then implement next time, you know?
Yes, no, I love that. And I want to give you guys the first keyword of the day. Do not write this in the chat. This is for your prize, but write it down personally on your paper. We're doing an award for people who have all 10 keywords that we give out during the summit. The first one is pitch. The first keyword is pitch. Don't write it in the chat. Do not write it in the chat, okay? Just write it on your piece of paper. The first keyword is pitch. Write that down. Keep that on the side so you can enter it to win the award at the end. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys that because that's what we're talking about. But this is so good, Alicia. I love your belief system. One of the things that I hear a lot is, how do you stay motivated when times get hard or when you don't feel like it? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
That's a good question, because it happens all the time. I mean, I think it's just part of being an entrepreneur is you got to ride the waves. You're not going to like be into it all the time. I just stay focused on the life that I'm creating, my life vision. And I'm just so dedicated and devoted that it's just not going to stop me. So I don't ever quit on a bad day. Yes. I can like step away and pray and just, reconnect, and then just get back to it when I can and just push through those bad days, because I stay connected to the bigger vision of what I'm creating.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely, absolutely love that. And one of the quotes I read was that someone asked, like, how do you stay motivated? And the response was, I don't stay motivated, I stay consistent. And I loved that. I loved that because it was like, that's so true. Because I get that question and it's hard for me to explain, because honestly, I don't even think about it in the terms of I'm going to work today because I feel like working. It's more like, this is who I am. Like, I am someone who is consistent. So I don't have to stay motivated. I have to stay consistent. And one of the things that I want all of you to take from this is, when I first asked Alicia that question, I don't know if you noticed this, but she thought about it. She was like, because it's probably not something she thinks about every day. It's like, am I motivated today? Is this the day I'm going to work? Do I feel like it? She probably wakes up and gets to work and does what she needs to do because of the bigger vision. And the same way I explained to you all my vision for Speak Your Way to Cash Live, helping 1,000 speakers make their first 7 figures in contracts and how that will impact thousands of organizations. You all are seeing that vision come to life during this summit. Like you heard from Maria, every organization she impacts has thousands of employees. Now you're hearing from Alicia, thousands of employees. And Alicia said before the event, she didn't even know like this was possible for her to do consistently. But now that she knows, she's impacting all these organizations. So collectively, our community is touching tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of employees through these skills. That's bigger than how I feel. What if I just didn't feel like doing the event? Because it was tough, okay? Doing big events, some of you all do events on here, it's no joke, okay? You're gonna feel all the things. But I do love what you said about being more connected to the vision than you are your emotions. Like that is powerful. Now, because you are a wellness expert, I have to ask this. So many people are feeling burnout, stress, overwhelm. What are your thoughts on taking care of self so you can take care of that mission and vision?
For sure. So what I find all the time is everyone thinks that things will change for them if people around them change. But you can't change people around you. You can only change yourself. And so when you start to change yourself, that's when things around you will change. When it comes to stress and burnout, you teach other people how to treat you. So when you're treating yourself with that kindness and that respect, and you're truly like taking care of yourself, filling yourself up, filling your cup up, then you can pour back to others with a state of overflow. And that's when you're able to live from a higher state of being, right? If you're always trying to live your life and do things and support others through like your very low empty cup, and then think that that's just what's going to change things, it's not going to. It's only going to change when you can live and work from the state of overflow. So take care of yourself, and that's when you'll start to see a lot of really big changes for those around you.
Yeah, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. And what are the 7 keys?
Okay, so sleep, get in your sleep, okay? You can't be connected if you're not getting enough sleep. nutrition, making sure that you are eating well, because we need to be focused, okay? We need to be focused and nourished, well nourished. Moving your body. There's actually a lot of new research out right now that you can increase your level of mental resiliency by working out harder. So when you are doing harder workouts, you're literally increasing your threshold to be a more resilient person. So movement, nature. Nature is super important because we're in like a nature deficit disorder culture where everyone's on their phones all day long, and that's actually contributing to your burnout and your stress. So reconnecting with nature is also how I like to reconnect with God, is being out in nature and connecting. Mindfulness, so meditating, being in the moment, right? Connecting to yourself from the inside out. And then the key of intention is the last one. So being super intentional with your thoughts, with your emotions, with yourself, with who you're being, and living from what it is that you intend to be. Like you said, with the motivation part, it's like, it's not a goal to be motivated. I am a motivated person. Like, that's just who I am. And so that's really leaning into the key of intention. So those are the 6.
I love those. There's 6. Okay, the 6. I love those. And we will, Marvick, in the group, please post a link to Alicia's book. I don't know if we can pre-order it now or if we have to wait until Friday, but we want to make sure we support it in the Facebook group and that everyone buys it and gets these keys because they need those. But this is incredible, totally incredible. So for you, how did you determine your target audience? How did you determine who you would pitch to? Are leads only coming to you now, or are you also implementing some of the pitch strategies as well?
So I am just now implementing the pitch strategies. I personally was I had a lot of relationships that I was working with since Speak Your Way to Cash up until now, and then like finishing the book. So a lot of it has been like, attraction marketing and referrals, relationships and whatnot. So it's just, that's been primarily who I'm working with. But as a result of that, I'm now kind of looking at all the industries that I've been working with from that and choosing who I'm going to focus on and pitch with now that the book is out, and like we have, a whole launch of things from there. So it's been, for me, just trial and error of what industry I'm working with and who I like working with, and now pitching those industries,
I love that. And you mentioned attraction marketing and referrals. Now, for you guys who don't know, pitching is great. One of the easiest ways to get a client is to look at who you already know, who you're already connected with, who you're already attracting, and seeing if you can scale that attraction with pitching. But for you, what is attraction marketing to you, and what are you doing now to kind of move that engine forward?
So the press piece of your formula, right? So I've been using social media for years and years, and I've been, building an audience from that on LinkedIn to offer my services, to connect with people, through that. So that's really what I mean by attraction. It's like content marketing. And now what I picked up from you is after I finish with a client, I'm always asking for referrals. That's not something that I was doing before, but I'm also, that's a process and system that we need to get up, is our better referral system. So yeah, leaning on that. My husband, he is like a master at relationships, and that's like his strength. And so I kind of lean on him with that because he does leadership trainings and whatnot. And so it just fits in really nicely with wellness and leadership. And so a lot of like referrals and connections, it's who you know, and I know my husband is doing that. So I'm able to bring me in.
No, I love that. I love that. And she said the press piece of our formula. So for those of you who are brand new and haven't read the book yet, we teach the paid methodology, and P stands for press. A stands for assembling an offer. We want you to have at least a 6-figure offer under your belt. I stands for inviting people to work with you. So don't just attract them to you, but then make them an offer, invite them to engage in the sales process. And then D is for delivering an incredible customer service experience, as well as making sure you deliver a really good product. So your speeches are good because here's the thing, guys, you can only get people once. All right. Like you sell them great speech, talk a good game, you show up and the speech isn't that great, it won't work. So when you hear people are getting referrals, that means that they delivered on the promise to the client. And one of the questions we like to ask clients is, what makes this a win for you? What makes this a win for you? So P stands for press. A stands for assembling your offer. I stands for inviting people to work with you. And D stands for delivering. And then the Speak Your Way to Cash book has a section. It has a section on all 4 of those, plus a bonus section in the back on hiring a team and legal as well. And Marvick or Leo can drop that in the chat too. But that's what she's referencing there. So that's really good for us to know. So what would you say was when you were at the event, or because you said that you're always open. So I just wonder, because I know you also listen to the podcast, right? The Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. So you're always open to new opportunities. Have you always been like that? Or did that develop over time as well?
Yeah, I have not always been like that. No, I feel like that's something you have to learn, because you have to work through the fear of being seen, work through the fear of success, because I think that's a really big fear that a lot of us have, and believing in yourself enough that you're ready for any opportunities that come to you. So I had to do a lot of mindset work of being ready, of genuinely being ready. So now I'm like, I'm ready for opportunities to come to me, and I'm ready for it. Instead of, oh, I don't really want you to see my website yet because I'm not ready. Or, oh, I don't really want you to reach out to me because I don't feel like I'm ready. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm ready. It's like a mindset thing.
Yeah, it is a mindset thing. And it's over above having really nice assets. Because some of you are like, well, I'm not ready. My website isn't perfect and this isn't perfect. We started pitching with the website we had. And then as we started growing in our business, we just developed it. Like, we're still always developing some of those assets. So I love what you said about it being a mindset thing. And I know that you attended the event. Hopefully I'll get to meet your husband as well. But who would you say the event is really good for? Like, who should attend?
My gosh, anyone who has content that they know that they can help others with. Anyone who's like, I have something that I can share. I know that I can speak or teach. That's the other thing, is I think that it's not just for speakers, because I don't necessarily do keynote speeches. I do workshops. That's like my thing. I do workshops, and then I do like experiences and retreats and things. And so I heard you say that, I think on a podcast, and that's what really helped me was, okay, she can still teach me a lot of these other things beyond just being like an exclusive, keynote speaker. So I think that if you're considering whether it is, being an exclusive keynote speaker or hosting workshops or doing any sort of help like for people in the corporate college industries, that can absolutely help you. You will take away a few really good nuggets as long as you implement them.
Yes, as long as, because you can take them and not implement them, but definitely you want to implement. And then what would you say to the person who is like, well, I hear you, I think it'll be great, but like, I'm scared of spending money. Like, the event is $2,500. I don't know if I can spend any money. Like, what would you say to that person who's afraid to invest? Maybe because they've been burned in the past with not such a great event or whatever the case may be, like whatever that fear comes from, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I've had that experience before where you invest and you're like, it wasn't the best. But I feel like too, every time I've done that's led me into the next phase that I needed. Like, it's always been helpful in some way. And so I just trust yourself that if you feel like you need to be there, you can do what you need to be there. And if you implement it, you're going to make the money back very quickly.
Yeah.
It's just an investment,
Yeah, it's an investment. You're not spending money, you're investing. I love that. So Jamie asked a really good question. And those of you who have questions, drop them in the chat. We have it for a few more minutes. This is a great question. What good tips or books did you use to change your mindset to be more positive and abundant?
Good question.
That's a good question.
A lot of them. So I have one right here. It's called Rich's F. She was a personal coach of mine. Like, look, I have a dollar bill for my my bookmark. But Rich's F, that's a really good one. There's another one a book called Creating Money. I have it right here. It's called Creating Money. Creating Money, Attracting Abundance. That's a really good one too. And And I just listen to a lot of positive mindset work all the time. Like listening to Ashley's podcast, that's very helpful for me to get into that mindset of like, nope, this is possible. I can do this. Like just constantly having that in the background. So I try to listen to something every day to really make that a part of my subconscious.
Yes, definitely. And I will say, when I first started out, that was one of the things that I had to do because I wasn't, you never make, when you're just starting new at something, you may not have money that you've made from it to know that it's real yet. So every day waking up, listening to positive podcasts. I love, obviously, the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, but I also listen to Side Hustle Pro is a really good podcast. There are several others that are just positive, but any podcast where it's interview style, people are talking about how they overcame, I wanted to listen to it. Because until your environment's different, you need to create a new environment in your mind.
I think too, it helps to focus on following people as like your proof list. I call it your proof list. So you understand like what you want, and then you have to start seeing that it's real. And so I look for those people that's proof that they have what I want and that they have what I'm after, as if like, of course it's possible. Because if you're only surrounding yourself with people who are proving that it's not in your mind, like, oh, look, that's not working for them, or, oh, look, it's not working on this end for this person, you need to intentionally look for proof that it's possible over and over and over again. And then it becomes something that's not as big of a deal. And then you can receive it, in my opinion. Like when it's not this like huge thing that could never happen to me, instead of like, yes, it's possible and it's coming my way, that's when I can receive it.
Yeah, no, I totally love that. And then one of the things too, guys, like the first part of our book is all about mindset. So please do read that part. Some people skip it because they're like, oh, I don't need mindset work. I'll just go right to press. Read the mindset part of the book because it really dives deep into what the limiting beliefs are and how to change them. So you want to do that. But I love all of the recommendations that you've made. I've just such enjoyed this conversation. And now here's another question. This is kind of off topic just a little bit, but because you work with your husband, I work with my husband as well. Did your husband always support you? And do you have any advice for someone who is maybe working with family members that don't support them? How can they too overcome?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, so we work together now. We have our separate companies, but then they overlap. So we do, work together. In the beginning, when I was just kind of entering the wellness space, he was kind of like, what is she doing? Like, I'm not really sure. She's teaching. I mean, I had a graduate degree and all of a sudden I'm just teaching yoga and working a front desk and starting a food blog. Like, what is she doing? And so I just kind of had to focus on myself. And all I was doing was leaning into what felt really good to me and trusting that is going to work out. And I felt like I didn't have to say anything to him. I just wanted to be it. I wanted to show him. And then the more that I showed him my belief in myself, then his belief changed. And then actually, because I was doing that for so many years, I convinced him to quit his job and start his own business. So
that is, yes, I love that because there's a transfer of confidence that happens. And I really don't think people give this enough credit, but literally, you guys, y'all can transfer confidence. And I have proof that you can transfer confidence because that is why you all are here. You're all here because I believed in doing a summit. I then put that summit out. The way that I promoted it transferred enough confidence to all of y'all to show up and be here live and listen to this. It is the exact same in your businesses. You all should believe so much in what you're doing that confidence is transferred to others, because really, if you're struggling with sales, you're struggling with belief because belief activates buyers. Now, scaling those sales is a whole different ballgame, but initially you get your first sales because you believe so much that you're telling so many people about it. So that confidence can transfer. It just needs to be so strong that other people can't permeate it and take you down the other path, because that happens too. It's like well, if they don't believe, then I won't believe. But I love that. And my husband's in the comments saying like he thought the same thing. The same thing happened to him. I started the business, was working the business. He was like, what's going on? And my session is actually next, but he literally now left his job to help with the business and start doing his own thing. And so that's really cool to hear. That is really, really cool to hear. What's been the most challenging part about growing the speaking side of your business?
I think it's the belief, it's just the constant believing in yourself and the constant, like, it's one thing to make plans to do it and believe in your plans. And it's another to implement in your plans as you're doing it. And so, it's just constantly like believing in my ability to go to the next level. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's my answer.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. And we have a question. What do you do when you get on a call with a prospective client and you lose your confidence spark?
I mean, you just have to recognize that you're doing it and remind yourself, like, no, I know what I'm doing. And you can turn it on and back on when you're on the call, And also, I think that only happens when you're putting so much pressure on yourself of like, this has to work. Like, release the pressure of it and just show up, be yourself, do what you can do. And if it doesn't go great, then that's okay. There's going to be more, but you'll learn something from it,
Yeah, the pressure that you talk about is so critical because one of the, a couple of things, that pressure comes from not having enough prospects in your pipeline. So it's like, I have to make this work because I know I've only pitched one person in the past 3 months. I've only gotten one opportunity in the past, whatever, or I need this to work so I could pay for this. Like, that is where that pressure comes from, which is why I don't recommend people leave their jobs until they have a solid plan and revenue, But then two, Tracy brought up a great point. My friend Tracy in the comments, scripts help. So one of the things we talk about at the event and in the academy is your sales script. In the academy, I critique everyone's sales script who submits it. And so you have a formula for every call. You're not saying different things. You know exactly what to say. You know exactly what to do, because the more you systematize your speaking business, the more it's predictable. So I don't have to be like, oh, what am I going to say next? I'm just going to read. Like, I'm going to read. And I used to do, back in the day, I had a salary negotiation business. And I would tell people, if you're going to get scared, write out exactly what you're going to ask for and just read it. So you don't have to commit to the words, commit to reading, commit to reading what's in front of you. And you guys, confidence also comes from competence. The difference between confidence and arrogance is competence is based on competence. Arrogance is based on nothing. So it's confident for me to say I can get on stage with the best speakers in the world and be confident and that I can do a great job there. It'd be arrogant to say I could beat Serena Williams at tennis. I don't play tennis. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my thing. Like, that would be weird. It's not based on any fact. And so when you invest in coming to the event, joining the academy, participating in summits like this, you're building that competence skill, which will give you more confidence because you're going to hear all these people who've done it. So that's really, really important. Is being on social media and using a social media a key piece of your success in the speaking space? Another question from the chat.
I would say yes, but only because I have been on social media for so many years. I think if you're going to use that, in my experience, if you're going to use that as a strategy, it's a long-term strategy. It takes time to build it on social media. Like, I wouldn't expect to just start an account and then you're getting leads in a few days or a few weeks or even a few months. So I think if you don't have one, I would just start, pitching yourself behind the scenes and then building a brand. But if you do have one, I mean, it's helping me.
Yeah. And it can also be used to just verify what you say. So if you say you're a wellness speaker, you're all of these things, then you want to make sure that your profile identifies that either on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And it's clear when you look at, she has a beautiful social media account. What's your Instagram name?
Alicia Ledham. Everything's Alicia Ledham.
Okay, awesome. So let's put that name. We'll post it in the group as well, but check out her social media because you'll be able to see it, and you can drop it in the chat if you want to. But make sure you all look at, it's aesthetically pleasing. The content is consistent. She sells the same thing. So just keep that in mind too. But we have a question. Is it possible to be a successful speaker without being on social media? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, but then here's the thing. Alicia already had a beautiful social media, so she leverages social media for her business. If you don't have a beautiful social media, then you want to leverage other things for your business. So you want to leverage maybe pitching. You may want to leverage LinkedIn. But if you don't have a LinkedIn, you may want to leverage direct mail. And so you leverage what you have so that it amplifies where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? That's a lot of what we work on with our clients is how do you leverage what you already have? Like you already have this, you're already in wellness. Why don't we package around that? Make the book the same thing as the framework. So you want to leverage what you have. So don't feel bad if you're like, I don't have social media. I don't know if this will help, but like, what do you have? And if you have relationships, that matters more than everything. So if you've worked at these companies, you have people who can introduce you to certain people, like leverage that. One of the things we're doing with the next cohort of the Academy is we are doing a challenge where it's like get leads from who you know. And each day we're reaching out to buckets of people in the categories that we already know, like where we already have relationships to really build upon those relationships. Because we often forget, and I was one of those people. I started my business and I did not tell everyone. I did not tell everyone that I had started the business. Like I announced it on social, but I didn't go in and say, hey, Sarah, who I've worked with for years, this is what I'm doing now, refer me business. And we should 100% do that. So what are some wellness techniques that you use to just keep yourself grounded? I know you talked about the 6 keys, but what is your number one favorite technique that you're using now to keep yourself grounded amongst the growth in your business?
One of my key mindfulness practices is gratitude. And so practicing gratitude is really important because it's really, when you have a goal and you focused on that, it's easy to focus on what you don't have. And I think that can scatter you. And so when you are more grateful and you're actually cultivating that, like gratitude isn't something that happens just because you think you're grateful for. You have to actually practice it. And so the more you practice what you're grateful for right now, it grounds you and centers you and helps you feel more confident to take action on the next thing, because you're not doing it from a place of like, I'm not enough, I have to fill this void. You're like, I am enough, I already have everything, I'm so grateful for that, and I'm ready for the next thing.
Yes, I love that. I love gratitude. So remind us again where we can get your book on Friday, or can we pre-order it?
No, but it's available on Friday. And it was on my website, but like you mentioned with yours, you're just always updating your website. And that's what we're doing right now this week for it to be ready for the book on Friday. But it'll be available on Amazon. And, it'll be all over my social media too. So.
Nice. Okay, good. And then when it's available Friday, just come and post it in the Speak Your Way to Cash group.
Okay,
everyone in here should be in the free Speak Your Way to Cash group, and then we'll be able to support it that way. I'm definitely going to get me a copy. I cannot wait. But thank you, for all your success. It's incredible. Congrats on your 70K plus contract. Hello. Congrats on that. Congrats on taking action from the event. You're really a gem. I mean, someone who can consume information, organize it, take the action, stay motivated, and being committed to that vision. It is truly inspirational. So I'd love for you to give advice to the speakers who are just getting started. Most of the people on here, this is their first Speak Your Way to Cash Live event. So they're like, this event's better than other events. I'm like, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? Wait till November. What would you say to those folks to keep them motivated, inspired, and connected to the community?
Yeah, I mean, I think just immersing yourself in the community is really helpful, because you are like we talked about earlier, you're surrounding yourself with people who are doing the thing, which then helps you to increase your own belief, right? That's, I think, the number one goal is to increase your own belief in yourself. And so surrounding yourself with people who are doing what you want to do and who are helping you to transfer that confidence and belief in yourself is going to add up. It just, everything adds up. So every day when you do something like that, it builds and builds and builds and builds, and just stay committed for like the long game, because it's not, you know, it's not like a quick thing, right? It's going to take time, but it's worth it.
It's 100% worth it. 100% worth it. Well, thank you so much. Give us your website again. Alicia's book is available on Friday on Amazon. She's going to post it in the group when we can get it. But give us your website as well, so that they can join your mailing list and just stay connected to your community.
Yep. So it's AliciaLedham.com. And so you can sign up for the mailing list there. And the book is called, I'm just typing it here in the comments, The 6 Gold Keys to Well-Being. So I just put that in there. And then I also have an assessment that you can take that's based on the framework. So if you take the assessment on my website, then you'll get on the email list, you'll get your own, you know, your own results to the assessment, and then you can dive into the book.
I love that. I love that setup. That's perfect. And we will definitely post all that on Facebook as well in the group so everyone there can get it too. Marvick, if you could do that for us, that'll be great. Thank you so much for your time. This was incredible. I didn't even know it'd be like a wellness masterclass as well, but it makes sense.
Thank you so much. You're awesome. I appreciate everything you've done to help me, and will continue to. So thanks.
Thank you, Alicia. I can't wait to see you. All right, guys, this was incredible, incredible information. I'm so very excited. So now we're right at 11:35. If y'all notice, we are staying on time. So we're going to give one more keyword before we take a little bitty break. And the next speaker, y'all got to be back on time, because the next speaker is my husband, Chris Kirkwood. He's coming up and joining us, and we're going to talk about all the things, okay? If y'all want us to talk, now we have a topic. We have topics, but one of the topics that may come up, because every time we do these events, it comes up. Sometimes people are like, can you talk about getting a spouse to support you? Like, what does that look like? So if that's something you all want to talk about, bring all your questions. He is incredibly powerful, an incredible person. I'm going to give one more keyword out, one more keyword before we head. Well, you know what? I won't do that because we're technically on a break based on the agenda. For those of you who don't have the agenda is at speakyourwaytocash.com, speakyourwaytocashsummit.com/join us. So you can see the full agenda there. So make sure you're there. We are technically about to take a 10-minute break. And right when we come back at 11:45, before we get started, right at 11:45, I'm going to give you guys the next keyword, the second keyword in the competition that we're doing. The second keyword is going to be announced right at 11:45. So we'll take this short 10-minute break. So we start back right at 11:45. So text your friends, tell your friends we're starting on time. And if you're joining us on Facebook, join us in Zoom. But we'll be back right at 11:45 for how to sell when you're used to working in public service and ministry and doing business in the education market. That is the next session featuring my husband, Chris Kirkwood. Is this good so far? Is this good? If y'all are enjoying this, just put yes in the chat. If you're getting what you came for, put yes in the chat, okay? All right, I'll see you guys in just 10 minutes. Brittany, because your coaching business elevated, your speaking business elevated. You're now a full-time entrepreneur. That could have been an award. Hello, this year, right? Full-time in your business. Yeah. So talk about all that, full-time in the business. A lot of people want to do that, full-time in the business, and how it has all evolved.
I think I went through Ashley's whole funnel. I found her podcast, and I didn't know speaking was like a paid industry. I saw people speaking, mama made me speak at church and stuff like that, but church wasn't paying. All right. And so I was like, I don't know, like I enjoyed doing it, but I was like, this is not sustainable. It burns me out because I'm showing up, going these different places. And so I kind of tucked it away, I guess. But, a lot of us are in leadership positions, whether in college, you probably were in leadership positions on your job. All of these things translate to you using speaking skills, being able to communicate a message. And so I came across her podcast right after I had been invited to an event. And when I got off stage, people were coming up to me I remember this lady with tears in her eyes just saying, oh my gosh, you have changed my life. And I had never done it in that environment. And I knew then I want to do more of this. And I found Ashley's podcast and I started implementing. Y'all, do that podcast is a gold mine. So go to the podcast and actually take action. That's what I did. I started getting speaking engagements from the podcast. A lot of them were still unpaid. But I was like, if I'm listening to the podcast and getting these kinds of results, how can I work with her to magnify the results? And so that's why I went through the whole funnel. Being a teacher, we speak every day. We understand how to break down, dissect information and convey it in a way that's digestible. But I did not translate that to getting paid in corporate. I didn't know people were getting paid. I really didn't. And so I started implementing, and I remember I got my first paid engagement, and y'all, it was $97. But you couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing, because I had never gotten paid before, except for, oh, that was good, girl. And so once I started working with Ashley, I think I did the course, and then I did like a VIP day or something, and I locked in my first 2 4-figure engagements. And that was mind-blowing because she told us we could charge a lot, and she told me I was not charging enough. But when they came back and gave me a 3-figure tip, I said, uh-oh, I didn't charge enough. And so once I realized, like Dorianne said, if you really have a blueprint, just follow it. I knew then that Ashley really knew what she was talking about. She's not just gassing us. And so I just decided to follow her lead. And so because of her, I have a system in place now where I could do this on my own terms. That's the freedom that comes with it.
And what was the decision to leave your job like? Because it's a lot of people who want to leave their full-time jobs. What went into that process, and what did you need to have in place first?
Mindset. You cannot behave like what you don't believe. And so when you address that,
well, say that again. Say that one more time. One more again.
You cannot behave like what you don't believe.
Man.
And so sometimes we tell ourselves we believe something is possible for us, which is why I love your 3 stages of belief. Yeah. We say we believe things are possible for us, but really we believe it's possible, but for someone else. Mm-hmm. But when you truly believe that it's possible for you, all of your actions will align with that. Your thoughts will align with that. And anything that presents itself to you that's out of alignment with that, you cast it down. Mm-hmm. And it's just as simple as that. And so when you truly believe that it's possible for you, you are going to strategically identify solutions to make it a reality. You're going to leverage anything that might be perceived as a mistake, anything that might be perceived as a setback. You are going to strategically leverage that to put you ahead. Mistakes are not mistakes over here. They're vehicles for learning and development. They're all a part of the process. And so it's all about the framework of your mind. How do you frame situations? What do you believe is your role in the world? And I know that I'm destined for bigger, so my behavior has to indicate that.
Woo. That is, come on, mindset coach.
My name is Stephanie Lawrence, and I am a business credit expert. And what I learned at Speak Your Way to Cash is to get rid of the negative limiting beliefs that's been holding me back from actually entering the speaking world. I know that I'm qualified. I know that I'm worthy. But today in this workshop, I actually learned that I don't need to be afraid and that I can just step into my worthiness and really take my business to the next level as a speaker to add that as an additional revenue into my business. What I expected to learn at Speak Your Way to Cash is to actually meet like-minded individuals who I could network with and actually build camaraderie with. Not only did I expect that, but I also expected to get strategies on how I could bring my expertise into the speaking world, and I was able to learn that as well. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here and actually networking with the individuals that I connected with. My pre-event experience with Speak Your Way to Cash was very different from any other conference I've been to. Receiving the swag box was really cool. It was good to see that she invested into her business, and it actually inspired me so that when I do future speaking engagements and events, I want to infuse the same type of marketing into my event as well. So it was really awesome to see the equipment that we got prior to the conference. And it really, really excited me to even come even more. So I couldn't wait for the day to come because of the pre-event stuff that we got. I was really excited to be here, and it was different, you know, and that's what it's all about. It's about being unique. And that was something that really caught my eye. If you are a business owner in any industry, I highly, highly recommend that you attend Speak Your Way to Cash. What I got from it is that you can add an additional stream of revenue and income into your business just as a speaker. You don't have to just be a speaker, but it can be additional revenue to your business. So if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you're looking to diversify your income, I highly recommend you attend Speak Your Way to Cash.
My name is Valencia Marshall, and I am from Naperville, Illinois. Today at Speak Your Way to Cash, I learned that just because I may have spoken before for free, that it did not mean that my speech was still not worth what it is. That means that if I charged $500 10 years ago, it did not mean that that wasn't a $20,000 speech. It just means I discounted my rate for the time that we were in. But now there's no more discount. So here we are. I expected to get out of Speak Your Way to Cash the energy and the revitalization of my speaking business, the confidence, the persistence, the dependability of myself, and accountability to be able to rejuvenate my speaking business and just go out there and do what I know that I was created to do and be able to determine my own worth and not let someone else determine it. My pre-event experience was like, I was so blown away about the details. I absolutely loved everything about this box and what was in it. And I was like almost into tears because that's what matters to me. I love the details, and I love that Ashley made those details like personalized almost. My name didn't even have to be on it. It was just the fact of receiving something in the mail and the details that were put into it, and the just the energy and the effort that was put into it made me know that she cared about each attendee and how we felt about being, I guess you want to say, special for Speak Your Way to Cash. I would recommend that anyone, regardless of where you are in a speaking career, whether you are thinking that you want to speak to kindergartners or you want to speak to Fortune 500 CEOs, you need to be at Speak Your Way to Cash in the future. If you stand in front of people at work and speak, you need to be at Speak Your Way to Cash in the future. It does not matter. If you open your mouth, you need to be at Speak Your Way to Cash, because you never know how this information will definitely make you manifest some things within you. There's absolutely an activation that happens every day at Speak Your Way to Cash, and you need to be there.